So why is it so hard to feel like you can be yourself these days? Because really, no matter how much you try, the world keeps telling you to tone it down, not to fully embrace who you really are or who you want to become. And let me tell you, I wanted to record this video not from an expert perspective because I'm not an expert in this field, but as someone that is struggling with this. I constantly struggle with, feeling like I want to conform to what the world is expecting of me. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there, perhaps there's a reason why you're watching this video and why you clicked on it. You want to fully be who you are, show the world who you really are. And I think that's something really important. So my hope is by the end of the video, you will feel a little bit more inspired, more ready to take action, and kind of start by truly believing in that you can put yourself out to the world in the most authentic way. So let's do it. So the first question, and I think it's really important, is why does the world push for conformity? I would say it's a lot of cultural norms. People are expecting everybody to be the same. People want you to fit into this square or circle, whatever shape you're thinking of. They want you not to stray from it. Culture wants everybody to kind of be the same. And I can see the value in it, but at a personal level, I think it's really debilitating trying to follow and conform to all of these cultural norms. Some of them are perfectly fine, and I try my best to conform to those norms. But there are some others that will really limit your ability to be yourself. Another thing that I think causes this push for conformity is the fear of standing out. And I would say the funniest thing about it is that we are afraid of standing out. That's something that we internally have come to be very comfortable with, not being visible, not being different, not being judged. Fear of judgment, that's also an important thing. But I think the worst part of this is how many people, I would say perhaps all of us, don't like it when other people stand out. Maybe it's because they get a lot of attention, perhaps. Maybe it's because we kind of see a reflection of ourselves and we feel very strongly about those that dare to be different, right? We put that very harsh judgment on people who really want to stand out. So it's not really the inner or internal fight to be yourself. It's also the fact that we are all in a way sabotaging each other. So the moment someone decides to, stand out, be different, truly be themselves, everybody's going to be very quick to point their fingers and go like, who do you think you are? Do you think you're better than us? Do you think there's something good in being different? Does that mean that all of us that are trying very hard to stay the same are doing something wrong? I think that's exactly why the world, and when I say the world, I mean all of us, people in general, we are holding each other back. And that's what's causing this fear and anxiety to be yourself, to truly show the world who you really are. It's internal, but it's also external. I think this is the source of the problem. So why does standing out matter? Well, if you want to live a fulfilling life, a life that will make you happy, because I'm almost 40 and I can look back at all these 40 years and I can really see how I have held myself back in so many different ways, and I continue to do that. But eventually, I guess I have 40 more years to live, and it's hard to think, and it's really sad to think that 40 years have passed by and I might not be myself. I have wasted 40 years of my life. And perhaps you're very young, perhaps you're older than me. It really doesn't matter. All the years that you have spent not being yourself are years that are lost. There's so much experience, so much life that you could live when you are really yourself. So if you are really committed to having a fulfilled life, you have to be yourself. There's no other way around it. Just think about years or decades holding yourself back, not really being yourself. Isn't that so depressing? And I don't want you to get it to that point. Just be committed to being yourself, because that will give you a really fulfilling life. Now, the other thing why I think it is important to really be yourself, going back to the internal and external thing, you will really inspire others. Because as I was just saying, everybody's on this same boat. I'm pretty sure 99% of people are holding back from who they really are. And I'm not talking about creepy people. I know there could be some creepy personalities out there that maybe might be better stay hidden, but in general, most of us are maybe waiting for something or someone to inspire us, to motivate us, to really be ourselves. And you can be that person if you make that commitment, if you make that decision, and you overcome that fear and all the pressure that you're getting from society. It will be a beautiful thing for you to be that person that, even in your inner circle, to be the one that will tell people, go ahead, be yourselves. I did it. I overcame the fear, and look at me. I'm living a more fulfilling life. That word for fulfilling, it's kind of difficult for me, but I think that's one good motivator or motivation factor. If you want to think about it, you will inspire people while living a richer life. Now, how do you go about embracing being different? So technically, this is where I start sharing my tips, if you want to call them tips, because I'm not an expert. I want to say that again. But the things that I have learned, let's put it that way. First of all, it doesn't have to be something big. You don't have to think about, okay, in order to be myself, I'm going to completely change who I am and completely how I look and completely how I think. I'm going to do a 180 starting tomorrow and be a completely different person. Not really. It's just small steps, a small thing that you change, going after that hobby that you have been putting off for a very long time, wearing that loud shirt, loud color shirt that you will feel uncomfortable, perhaps a little bit self-conscious if you wore that shirt, as I'm doing today, or simply, raising your hands in the next meeting that you're in your next interview, perhaps being daring to speak what you really think, because sometimes it's just verbal. You don't have to change your appearance, you don't have to change anything, perhaps, to be yourself, but sometimes it's just the words that you don't dare to speak. The next thing is finding a good support system. That is key. Whether it's a good friend or a circle of friends, people you trust, maybe a colleague at work, someone that you feel comfortable with, because we all have those people that we feel at least a little bit more comfortable being ourselves. Just find them and get closer to them and try to even express how you are feeling as you are trying to show the world who you really are with those small steps. Because let's face it, not everybody's going to get it. You are not going to change the entire world. You're not going to change a lot of people, even people that are close to you. But who cares? Really, who cares? You don't have to think about those people. That your changes and your evolution has nothing to do with what they think. But having a good support system, that group, even a small group of people that really gets it, that is really important. And also be okay with the discomfort. So it is not easy, and you're gonna feel self-conscious. You're gonna feel a little bit weird at the beginning. That's definitely gonna happen. You're gonna feel awkward, really awkward. And I can tell you just by the things that I have experienced, but eventually it just gets better. It's those small steps that you are taking, and eventually it's all that anxiety that you might be feeling at this moment, just by thinking of, oh, how is it going to be if I dare to be different, if I dare to be myself. It does get easier with those little steps. And when you have your support system and you are really committed to living a fulfilling life, be okay with being awkward at the beginning. Be okay with those feelings of real discomfort and maybe some judgment from other people, but go back to your reasons. That's going to keep you in the path to success. Now let's talk about the ongoing struggle, because even as much as I have progressed, I would say, it's still difficult. There are certain circumstances or situations or places or people where I have been holding back a little bit more, and it's not easy. There's still always going to be that small, tiny voice in your head telling you, why don't you just play it safe? Why don't you just hide that part of your personality that people are not used to, that you feel a little bit afraid of showing? It's a struggle that is always going to be there, really, because again, society and culture and all these different things are constantly going to be reminding you not to go after it, not to be yourself, just to conform. So realizing and understanding that this is something that's always going to be there. It's always going to be a struggle. And I know struggle kind of sounds like a negative word, like you're going to have to be fighting every day, but you can think about fights in a positive light as well. And every fight that you win is a battle that you win, and something that just makes you stronger mentally, physically, emotionally. But accept it as it is. It's a challenge, and those people that face challenges and overcome those challenges are the ones that, again, will live happy at the end of their lives. And I have seen these interviews with old people, elders, let's call them that way, with all the wisdom that they have acquired through years and years of living. And I'm sure you have seen these interviews, right? Like where they ask them, what is that one thing that you regret in your life? Most of them will say that I didn't go after what I really wanted, that I just wasn't myself. And it's really eye-opening when you hear those people talk about those things. And at the moment I go like, they are absolutely right. I should be myself. Why am I afraid of these things? And then I go back to the same daily constant struggle, because that's how it is. But you have to fight, but embrace the struggle, and definitely you will end up living a much more happier, a happier life. That's what I want to say. You will live a happier life. And also, just to be clear, it's not about being perfect or being completely fearless. It's about showing up time and time again and trying time and time again. That's what it's all about. So, as a form of conclusion or takeaway for this video, I want to say this: the world really needs you, the authentic you, your quirks, your personality, your passions, all of this. The world really needs it. Even if you think like, I'm not going to make any changes with this, I'm not even going to influence anybody. Yes, you will. Believe me. You can see so many different examples of people that dare to be themselves, that dare to be different, and how they literally change the world. So just imagine all these people that have changed the world with their personalities and their quirks and their passions. Had they held back, where would we be? Just think about it. And you're part of this world. So that small change that you're going to make, it can change the world, because the world needs authentic people. So I'll leave you today with one question, or question/challenge. What is one thing that you can do to stand out today? That one thing that you really want to do and you are afraid of what people will think. Let me know in the comments. And the challenge is, go ahead and do it. I want to see you do it. And why don't you tell me in the comments how it went? How it went when you went after this thing that you were afraid of. I really want to know, because I guess we can all inspire each other, and I have to deal with this constantly, and your experiences and your opinions will really help me as well. So thank you for watching. See you in the next one.